Talk about Harvey Weinstein for just 1 second. Harvey Weinstein basically got off, and Bill Cosby's in prison. I'll just say it again. Harvey Weinstein got off, and Bill Cosby's in prison. I'm going to put these numbers up of what Harvey Weinstein was worth before all this and how much he's paying out and what they say he's worth now. We'll let you know that he literally took his money and hid it. But Harvey Weinstein is living his best life, and Bill Cosby is in prison. And to top it all off, Oprah is not going to do a documentary on Harvey Weinstein, but she is going to do one on Russell Simmons. So let me say it in layman's terms. Oprah Winfrey is not going to do a documentary on the rich Jewish guy, but she is going to do a documentary on the rich black guy.
Did you ever waver in your beliefs when the documentary director came out and said there was a timeline issue? Michael Jackson didn't have the train station?
You know why I have not wavered? Because I've had girls at my school who were sexually assaulted and abused, and I have never won a case. And the reason I have never won a case...
Just listen, don't go off emotions. Think!
This is why you can't trust these celebrities, because these celebrities work for the system, and ultimately they work for themselves. Oprah Winfrey is literally doing a documentary on Russell Simmons and not doing one on Harvey Weinstein.
He is not capable of something like this.
No,
that Michael
listen,
was not capable of
listen,
sexual abuse.
Listen, he's not. He's been acquitted. He's been acquitted on all these charges. I'm going to say this. That's not who he is.
Just listen, don't go off emotions. Think!
And she just did one on Michael Jackson. And her friend, Gayle King, interviewed rkelly. You see what I'm getting at? Do you see what I'm getting at?
Because what you're doing is you're stomping on someone's grave who's there for you, taught you things, did all these kind of things. And then you guys are sitting there talking about how you were molested and all this stuff. It's hard for me to understand. How am I supposed to understand that when my own personal experience with him was gentle and beautiful and loving and embracing?
Just listen, don't go off emotions. Think!
To him, hurting a child, he'd rather hurt an adult. If he was going to hurt somebody, he would never hurt a child. This is the last person in the world, because to him, they were the only people that understood him.
I don't believe a word of anything in this documentary. Okay, Wendy. I'll tell you in a second. No, continue.
After all this tragedy, after all these sexual assaults, after all this manipulation, after all this show of power, after all this rape, after all this destruction, after all these harm to all these women and family and children, and after all this stuff, look who ends up on top and look who ends up on the bottom. Bill Cosby's in prison, rkelly's going to prison, Russell Simmons can't come back, and Harvey Weinstein gets to keep his money and live his best life. How can anyone think that it's not a setup? How can anyone honestly believe that it's not a setup? And to top it all off, Oprah Winfrey is a part of it. Gayle King is a part of it.
Listen, don't go off emotions. Think!
And when my brother said, Oprah told me you were coming. So I'm thinking the whole time that I'm going to be able to see and talk to my sister. I didn't find out you were going to be there until I got there that morning. And then she said, oh, by the way, Monique is not coming. So, in my humble opinion, that woman manipulated my family to have them believing one thing when it was actually something else. That woman manipulated me because she had me believing one thing and it was actually something else.
Many of our black leaders are not leaders. They are puppets. They are henchmen for the system. And I make this statement without any emotion. You can't be a black leader in the system unless you're going to do what the system wants you to do, unless you're going to be complicit with the agenda of the system. So that same systemic oppression you have to be a part of.
The goal was to be advisors to the king. It's an elite. It's the elect group of black folk, the educated elect group of black folk that they use to keep white interest on top.
But I do know that both of these young men have sued Michael Jackson's estate for like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right, and lost, right?
Lost, and they're now
they owe the estate money or they got to pay the lawyer fees or something like that, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's something to where like by losing, and it was like now you owe us money for taking us through this process.
Yeah, I don't know the exact laws, but now they're appealing.
Right.
And when
so this documentary will help their appeal.
Well, when Oprah asked one of the guys, you know, well, why did you sue? You know, well, why did you sue? He goes, well, you know, I just needed the state to respond to me, and the lawsuit was the only way I thought to do it. Well, why ask for $100 million? Well, I wasn't even really thinking about the money. I mean, the money was just a non-issue, and I'm like, okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit. Right there. You know what I mean? You're a fucking liar.
They will not let us win. We cannot win. They will not let us win. After all that's said and done, Harvey Weinstein is living his best life. Bill Cosby in a cell, rkelly in a cell, and Russell Simmons can't come back.
Listen, don't go off emotions. Think. What have anybody done for us? What? Any leader, what have they done? The leaders that do stuff are dead. They die. Because they go against them and they get killed.
Wait for it. Free Blanche. Get money.